Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Catherine, co-host and bestie.
Welcome to the Pod Lab, Catherine.
Thank you.
Beautiful day today.
It is. Yeah, nice spring day.
Yeah, and the sun is shining.
Mm-hmm.
That always helps.
Oh, tremendously.
I know. We're here. It is April 20th, 2026. And so we're well into spring, right? Or is the first day of spring April 21st?
No, it's March 20.
Oh, it is March?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we're well into spring.
Yeah.
Oops, I forgot.
Yeah.
So it should be springy, but we've had the weirdest weather this year.
We've had a lot of storms this year.
We have.
Yeah.
I told you, I'm going to tell this on the air. We had a tornado drill that we had to do at the camp that I was at.
Yeah. Right.
That
had to be memorable.
I'm going to tell you what. It is wild to be woken up by a knock on your door.
Yeah. In a foreign place.
Yep. And there's no basement in the little cabin where I was because we were at Cedar Lake Ministries camp. Mm-hmm. So it was like a little, I don't know, cabin thing.
Yeah.
And there's no basement, but there was a storm shelter across the street, which I knew about because it had a big sign on it that said storm shelter. And my friend, our friend, Darlene, she was staying at her cousin's house, which was just a little ways down. Well, she came and knocked on my door because the sirens are going off. Yeah. I was asleep in my room.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hear the sirens, but my light was on because I was trying to stay awake to be weather aware, as they say.
Uh-huh.
So
you were pooped.
I was tired, yes. But I suddenly was woken up, and I opened the door, and Darlene says, "The sirens are going off. We're all going to the shelter." And by we're all, there was a whole group of women running.
Yeah.
Through the camp.
Wow.
So I grabbed my purse and strapped it over my head. I thought, if I'm going to fly across Indiana, I want somebody to identify my body, right? And I didn't have time to put on my shoes, so I just slipped my feet into my pink fuzzy slippers, which now are ruined. I have to get new ones.
Yeah.
And I'm running. I'm running across the camp, okay?
So you can run.
I don't run, no.
But you can.
Apparently. If a dog is chasing me or there's a tornado, I'm going to run.
Uh-huh.
We get to the tornado shelter. It's locked. We can't get in.
Unbelievable. That's funny because that's where you're supposed to go.
Right.
But it's locked.
Right. So then we're like, what do we do? And the wind is kicking up and the siren's going off. And so here's 20 women who are like my age and maybe some younger. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice anybody really that looked older than me, but I didn't really see them because I was running. But anyway,
everyone for himself.
Right. Like, I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
Bye. So anyway, Darlene says, let's go to my cousin's house. So we run to her cousin's house. We all get in. We're all piled into her cousin's house. And her cousin's like, I don't have a basement. Like, oh no. And then we could hear somebody say, the storm shelter's open. So somebody came and unlocked it.
Okay.
So now it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
A downpour, a deluge.
Yeah.
And now we're running back. So do you remember the monkeys?
I do.
Do you remember when they would have those running scenes where the monkeys would be running this way and then they'd be running that way?
Is that how you saw yourself?
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
Except we're middle-aged Christian women who are a little past middle-aged.
Well, I was going to say.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I'm going to live to be 150. Anyway, so then we run back and now we get in. We go downstairs. We're soaked. We're freezing. Mm-hmm. And we stayed down there for probably 45 minutes or so, something like that. And then the girl that was in charge, she called somebody else and they said, yeah, give them the all clear. The sirens were not going off. We could get out, right? Mm-hmm. So we come upstairs, and as soon as we got to the upstairs, the sirens went off again.
Oh, my gosh.
We're like, oh, no. So back downstairs we go.
What a night.
I know. We stayed for another half hour or so, and then truly the storms had left the area, so it was okay. We went back to our room.
Just today we had the pest control guy in, for preventative measures. And he showed us that his house got hit. A tree had toppled over, and it was a massive mature tree. And then you ever see that where the wind takes it and half the roots and the ground is pulled up? That's what he showed us.
Did it hit his house?
It did. It hit his house and his wife's car. Yeah.
Oh, no. This happened Friday?
This happened Friday, in Beecher.
Okay.
So it's not far from Cedar Lake.
Right. And I heard, I was watching Max Velocity on YouTube. My son Adam turned me on to this YouTube channel that is all weather all the time. And this Max Velocity was saying that there were over 50 tornadoes in between Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, and I think one other state.
You know what's funny is Ron texted Kenny, unbeknownst to Kenny at the time.
Yeah.
Kenny saw the text in the morning, and apparently Ron around 10:30 at night said, "Are you watching the weather?"
Yeah, right.
And Kenny's like, "Why would I be watching the weather at 10:30?"
Yeah.
But
well, see, he's taking
we
care of
didn't-
his boy.
I know. We didn't hear a thing.
Yeah, I don't think the sirens went off in Peatone, but that Max Velocity who's on YouTube, he mentioned Peatone. He said, it's coming your way, Peatone, be weather aware. And that's probably when Ron texted.
Oh, Max Velocity is the guy's name?
Well, the channel is called Max Velocity.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I don't know if his name is Max. It might be. He's a younger adult man, whatever. He's a meteorologist.
Okay.
And yeah, my son turned me on to him, so I'm like, oh yeah, I got to watch Max. All right. We weren't planning on sharing all that, but there it is,
We
friends.
digress all the time.
I know. Stay weather aware. If you're tuning in for the first time, Catherine and I go off on tangents all the time, so just, hang in there, whatever. But this is episode number 265, and today we're covering Betrayal, Secrets and Lies, the Bible study
Kidnappers.
Kidnapper. Yes, the Bible study Kidnapper.
Yeah, very
intense.
Yeah.
That title alone piqued my interest.
Oh, for sure.
I'm like, I want to know what happened.
Oh, let's hear about the
Bible study Kidnapper.
Yeah.
So this is the true crime story. Sometimes we like to cover true crime, not that often, but we try once a month or so to cover something true crime because it's too weird not to cover it.
Yeah, or just a documentary.
Yeah. So it
doesn't have to be crime.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we're going to cover all that, and we're going to basically tell you what happened. We're going to tell you the red flags as we see them now. Of course, we admit that 20/20 vision, after it happened.
Well, especially when it's titled Betrayal. Right. I mean, yeah, it's very easy to have hindsight in that way.
And we're going to share our reactions to the story. And as usual on the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast, we're going to share scripture. So stay tuned to the end because you don't want to miss the scripture that goes along with this one, friends. And then we always have a little call to action at the end. Catherine, why don't you share with our listeners how they can support the podcast?
You can support us by going to lifehappensLaughAnywayPodcast.com. That'll direct you to Tracy's website, and from there you'll see the prompts right away where you can click on it and you can donate $5 a month, or you could do one lump sum. They could do that online, right?
Yeah.
One lump sum?
Yes, they can.
Yeah, and that just helps us with many things, one of the biggest ones being our monthly platform that we use. It costs us money, and we're trying to grow.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and learn.
And we are actually growing. So thank you to all of you that are sharing the podcast. Please, if you are getting any value out of our podcast, please share it with others and like it.
And even if you're not, just be
kind.
Just
do it. Right. Just do it. All right. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what happened. So this is the story of Chad and Danielle. Okay. No, I can't really, I don't know anybody by that name.
Right.
So Danielle, like Danielle, but Danielle.
Correct.
Okay. Chad and Danielle Skipper. And they were a Christian couple that lived in Geneseo, Illinois. Why don't you give you're really good at summarizing. So why don't you just give like a brief summary of the story, and then we'll go into like the red flags.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are seeing this from interviews and the perspective of the wife, and a couple interviews with one with her sister and one of her children. She had 6 children. Mm-hmm. And as you said, they were Christian. The mom, I forget her name. Danielle. Jeez, we just talked about that. Danielle.
It's like, what? What happened?
And they were raised in California in a Christian home, Christian family. And she was seemed to be anyway, deeply rooted in her Christian values.
Yes.
And she meets her husband-to-be in a Bible study. So she's thinking, and he's full of charisma, kindness, showered her with respect. They even said that he had a lot of respect for her and showed respect for her.
Yeah.
His name was Chad. And so their family grew. We'll mention it later, but there was one red flag early in the marriage, but then it's never brought up again.
Right.
And because she Danielle is so rooted in the values that she holds dear to her. She did not want to leave. The advice that she was given by a counselor was, you can leave, and actually I would advise you to.
Right.
And but she doesn't do that. And then they have a life that is so blessed. They have everything going for them. It seems perfect. And but then things come crashing down one night. She's home. It's at night, and the cops are breaking in. She's clueless as to why, and they're asking about a couple. This couple, their names are Larry and Connie Van Ooster.
Van Ooster.
Van Ooster. And poor Danielle is thinking, what do they have to do with anything? That was the church's Bible study leaders.
Oh, it's Van Oostens. Van Oostens.
That sounds right.
Yeah, those are just an elderly couple from the church.
Yeah, they were like pillars in the community.
Yeah.
And I say that because they had money.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
So, anyway, so then everything unfolds from there, and poor Danielle and the children learn what a beast her husband actually was, and the evil demons that he had been wrestling with probably his whole life.
Yeah.
And how out of control it got for him. And so that's it in a nutshell. And we'll give you the details later. But, and it does have a happy ending, doesn't it? In terms of Danielle, she finds love again.
Yeah, she does, which is good for her. You know, that was kind of comforting.
Yeah, she didn't think she could ever trust anyone again. And I have to say, after having somebody so dedicated as her husband seemed to be, and loving and even respectful, a good dad, they all said he was a great dad.
Yeah, they did.
Because he masked so well, how would you trust someone again?
I think I would have big time trust issues after that. And I think that my world would be shattered. That's the term that comes into my mind for this poor woman.
Mm-hmm. And her kids. Wow.
You know, she was raised in California in a little bubble because she was homeschooled and she was, you know, in a Christian home and all of that. And her parents moved to Illinois.
Mistake number one.
We're from Illinois, in case you didn't know. But they moved to the Geneseo, Illinois area, which is like northern western Illinois.
Yeah, wasn't it like Moline? Yeah.
Geneseo and Erie are the two names of the towns that they gave.
Okay.
So, and they,
the church was. That's what it was.
Well, they moved to Erie. Danielle and Chad moved to Erie for their first home, and then they had attended this Erie Christian church, which I thought that's an irony. It's called Erie. The town is called Erie. Yeah. And then, you know, so they met through InterVarsity Christian Fellowship or whatever. It's like it's almost like the Navigators, which I've talked about before. That's where I became a Christian. It's a collegiate parachurch organization. So it's not a church, but it's a Christian organization that's focused on Jesus and focused on the Bible and, you know, really good things. Like I had a super good experience. I met my husband through a ministry like that.
Yeah.
I can totally get it. And then they said they would do Bible study and then they would go out to eat afterwards. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what Ron and I used to do. Mm-hmm. And as we're listening to this story unfold, we're like, wait a minute. Is his name Ron? You know? Yeah. It was funny. It was said that they were very much in love. You know, her sister who was interviewed said that they were both into each other. Everything was happy about their engagement. All the parents on both sides were super happy. The wedding was great. It was perfect.
And she was so in love. She said that several times.
Yeah, she did.
Very much in love.
And she said on this interview that she could have never dreamt that this would be her reality one day with this man. Okay. For Chad, he was charismatic. He was described as cool, calm, and collected, super smart, very kind, and impressive. Mm-hmm. Okay. They went on their
Red flag.
I know. Don't just date somebody dumb, okay? Good looking.
Or somebody who doesn't have charisma.
Good looking and dumb. Somebody who just goes, duh, what? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. On their first date, here's another red flag. They watched a movie called I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah, she does mention that, doesn't she? Yeah.
And then she said that she made lasagna for the first date, and he changed her oil, and then she fell in love.
Yeah.
Because she knew that he was going to take care of her.
Yeah, the gift of service.
Okay.
Why not?
Then they get married and they move to Erie, Illinois, which is a small town, and everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
Chad grew up in the church there at Erie Christian Church, and so his parents were there, probably cousins, relatives all over the place. Because in small towns, I grew up in a small town, you grew up in a relatively small town.
Very small town.
You know everybody, and everybody knows you, okay? And in my case, everybody was related. It was a little dicey sometimes. Like, what?
Yeah.
Chad and Danielle actually did skits. Danielle?
Yeah.
Gosh, I keep on getting her name wrong. Sorry, Danielle. Chad and Danielle. They used to do skits in their church.
Yeah.
Little comedy skits that would point people to Jesus.
Yeah, they were role models for the younger people. Yeah.
I mean, it was just a perfect picture of love. You know, they were always together. They were always loving. You know, nobody questioned that they were going to have a very bright future.
Yeah.
So then Chad becomes a financial advisor, and he did really well, seemingly. That's a red flag, seemingly.
Well, I mean, he appeared, he just appeared to be doing very well. He bought a big, grandiose home, and Danielle said, I was fine with the house we had.
Yeah.
It was sad, it was nice, and but he wanted bigger and better.
Yeah, and she said that that's the way he always was. He wanted bigger and better.
Yeah.
And people around them saw that they lived in this big giant house. They had beautiful cars. They had, like the one guy mentioned, that they have the proper lawn equipment. Like,
I picked up on that too. I'm like, okay.
He had lawnmower envy.
So big about that.
I don't know, but whatever.
Lawn and order.
At that time, Danielle said that it was too good to be true. Like, how could I have this amazing life, right?
Yeah. And 6 children. Did we mention that?
Well, they didn't have the children all yet.
No, but
eventually they did.
Yeah.
But then comes the biggest red flag that I'm sure hindsight, when Danielle looks at her life, she kind of wishes that she maybe would have tucked tail and run, but whatever. I don't know. But Chad admitted to having a restroom encounter with a man.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting the way he worded it. So allegedly, that's how he worded it. I had an encounter with a man.
Sexual. It was a sexual.
And it was. They confirmed that in the documentary.
Yeah, and Danielle just was so committed to this marriage and to her vows that she wanted to work it through. She refused to leave the marriage, and that's when they had sought counseling. And as you pointed out earlier, the counselor actually said, you don't have to stay. And in fact, I would advise you to leave. And she said no. Yeah. Danielle said, no, I'm not leaving. I am staying in the marriage.
I know that she got pregnant after that, but I don't recall if it was with their first.
It is their first.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
So at this point, they're still not parents, okay?
Right.
And now they become parents. So 2 months later, Danielle is pregnant with her first daughter. Her name is Grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shortly after Grace is born, Danielle is pregnant again with their second child, Christopher. And that's where things kind of shifted. Chad was a great dad. He took care of the babies. He played with the kids. He did all the stuff. Danielle was a stay-at-home mom. And Chad was doing all of the financial stuff. He ran his own financial planning business, and the money was coming in from Chad. And she didn't have anything she didn't know anything was going on, and she didn't have anything to do with it.
Well, and if your husband, if his career is financial planning, you wouldn't really think that you'd need to, especially when you trust.
And I mean, the other piece of it is she's busy, right?
Well,
she's got 2 kids that are born like probably 12 months apart or 13 months apart. I mean, you and I both went through that with our first 2 kids. They were close in age. They used to call them like Irish twins. Your life is all about just keeping tiny humans alive.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Danielle at all for not knowing. She trusted him. She trusted him.
Why wouldn't she? He had all the marks of a good Christian man,
Yeah.
husband.
And when they did purchase this larger home, there was an office in the basement. So he's isolated. It's further away from her and the kids. And he was down there for long hours, well into the night, quote unquote, dealing with clients, according to him.
Yeah.
And
she did question him.
She did.
She did say, "Why are you down there 2 a.m?" And then that's when he said, "Well, I'm dealing," and he got agitated. That's a red flag.
Right.
Why would you be so defensive like that you're agitated? And she was like, "Okay."
Well, because here's the thing about red flags, right? She knew something was off.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Why am I in this bed alone?
Right.
And he's downstairs dealing with clients at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Who's up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
doing their finances?
Right.
Okay. So she knew that doesn't make sense.
Exactly right.
But then he tells her his blah, 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 and gets agitated.
Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of times we want to believe.
Of course we do.
Yeah, we want to. The red flags are there, but we dismiss it by, no, that can't be. That can't be off.
Of course. The fact that he got annoyed just by being questioned, that should be a red flag too.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's what I was saying.
And I'm saying that for us in our relationships going forward, and anybody listening, like there is no fault here on Danielle's part. She's, I'm sure, learned that this man is not good. But if you are in a relationship and you ask a question, and your partner gets annoyed by the simple asking of a question,
especially if they turn it around on you,
that's a red flag. You should look into that. Okay. And his responses to why he wasn't in bed was, well, then I'm going to do it more. The fact that you're annoyed by it, I'm going to do it more.
Who says that? And she said, when you love somebody, how could that be your response?
Right.
When you love someone, why would you say that?
I felt so bad for her in the show that we watched because her chin was quivering when she said, "Did he ever love me?"
Yep.
And I felt really bad for her.
Definitely. Yeah.
Very sad. All right. So then there's this church, Erie Christian Church, and at the church are the Van Oostens, Larry and Connie. And they're elderly people, and they've had success in life. They owned a number of businesses in the area, and they had just sold one of them. Well, Chad knew that they just sold a business, so they had a pile of cash that they were sitting on.
And by the way, Chad grew up with them. Yeah. They taught him when he was younger.
Yeah.
Bible study.
So they were older than him, but he knew their family. This was his small town. Everybody knows everybody.
Right.
So the Van Oostens were pillars of the church.
Yes.
And they had all this cash. Well, Chad wanted the Van Oostens to be his client. He wanted to get a hold of that cash and manage it. Well, they had a meeting, so they sat down and talked. Well, thank God the Van Oostens, they didn't feel confident or secure in Chad's financial planning skills. Yeah. They just didn't feel like he had been in the industry long enough to know what to do, and his plan did not make sense. So they said no. Good for them that they did that. Well, Chad shifted, and he started buying rental properties, fixing them up, and renting them out. Okay, so he shifted to real estate.
Which Danielle had absolutely nothing to do with it. She didn't even know that he did that. That's how removed he had made her.
Right, because she's over here wiping butts and counters and noses and all the things that you wipe when you're a mother, okay? She's managing the home. He's managing bringing the money, right? And she would ask him, where were you? Because he'd be gone then all the time. So not only do we have this thing of him hunkering down in the basement doing God knows what down there, but he's also gone.
Yeah.
And he would make excuses like, this broke down, this happened, I had to do some plumbing issues, whatever.
Because by then she did know about the rental homes, and that's when he would say, well, I had to fix the toilet at the rental house. And
yeah. So fast forward, now she's got 6 kids, and this has been going on for a number of years. They've been married I don't know, I forget now, 17 years.
17, yeah.
Okay. So they're pretty established, right? Middle of the night, Chad texted the 14-year-old daughter.
Oh, gosh. This is a woozy. Listen in, you listeners.
And Chad, actually, okay, I don't know on my notes here. The middle of the night was when the police came.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But at some point before the police came.
It was like 2 or 3 days before then.
Okay. Chad texts the 14-year-old daughter and instructs her to wrap the sledgehammer with electrical tape.
Yeah. And you see the text. It says, okay, Daddy, you know, something like that.
And he was very specific about how he wanted it wrapped. He wanted it wrapped flat, and he told her that. Flat and methodically, and go slow so that it's smooth and not wrinkly. And he said, I don't want the tape all bunched up.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, if you do this, I'm going to give you a treat type thing.
Right.
So she does it.
Yep.
Because this is her dad.
Yep. And then she says, all done, or something like that. And phew.
Right. And she sends him a picture of it. So now you've got a
Did she? Oh,
she did. She sent him a picture of it. So now you have a sledgehammer that is wrapped in electrical tape, and there's no other discussion around it. Why? Like Mike.
Well, and also, I mean, I wonder, did she tell her mom? Like, did he ask the daughter, don't tell your mom? Because that's such an odd thing.
It is odd.
And I'd be surprised if the daughter didn't say, Dad wanted me to wrap a sledgehammer.
I know, because it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know. But at 14, you know, who knows what to do. So anyway, that happened. And then the police come to the home of this family, and they bang on the door, and they come in. Because, and they pointed a gun at Danielle.
And flashlight or lights from the gun. And,
right.
Yeah.
And they're yelling, police, police.
She was scared.
Heck yeah, she was.
The daughter says that she was scared.
And the police are asking questions. Do you know where Chad is? You know, and do you have a secret room in your house? And where are the Van Oostens? And
yeah, and she's like, well, Chad's downstairs probably.
Right.
And the Van Oostens, I don't know, what do they have to do with anything?
Right. And the Van Oostens, unfortunately, Chad had used that tape-wrapped sledgehammer to bash in their basement window. And he had his daughter wrap it in tape to soften the blow so that hopefully it wouldn't wake them up. And he was going to slither into their home like a little sneaky snake that he is through the basement. And then he went up into the kitchen and he sat at the kitchen table for a couple of hours.
Right. And
why?
And we're left to wonder. Nobody speculates on it on the documentary. Nobody says why or like I said, they don't even speculate.
No.
We're just left to wonder, why did he do that?
Right. If I was the interviewer, and maybe the interviewer did ask, but they had to edit it.
Yeah.
But I would say, you know, do you think that he was contemplating this? Should I do this evil act? Was he praying? Was he like, I can't believe my life has been reduced to this? Was he scared? I don't know.
Yeah. I would imagine that he was second guessing what he should do. I would imagine, but I don't know.
And the fact that they know that he was sitting there for a couple of hours, he probably just admitted it.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because he did say, I have demons.
Yeah. So anyway, after he gets up from his 2-hour contemplation session or whatever he was doing, he goes up to the bedroom where Larry and Connie are sleeping, and he tases Larry and subdues him first. And I'm sure Connie is just like, what is happening here, right? And then he has Connie put duct tape on Larry, or he's going to kill Larry.
Yeah, and he has a voice what do they call those? A voice
Changer.
mixer.
Yeah.
And, you know, where it's
like an evil
spooky
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did he say?
I don't know.
He said, where is your God now?
Oh, yes.
Where is your God now?
I'm surprised I didn't remember that, because that, to me, spoke volumes about him and who he is and what goes on inside of him.
Yeah.
To say that, where is your God now? It also implies that he doesn't believe in God, that God is for them, but not for him.
Yeah.
That's what I get out of that.
I think that maybe, I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but, you know, they have...
I am.
You know how they
That's
have
why I said it.
that God complex thing?
Yeah.
Maybe he had that. Maybe he had this, like, desire to be in control.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
And he's saying, look at me, I'm bigger than your God because I'm creating this evil thing on you. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they did call him a narcissist, and they do have a God complex.
Yeah. And by the way, this poor couple, Larry and Connie Van Oosten, they were duct taped. Their eyes were duct taped.
Yeah.
Their mouths were duct taped, and they were handcuffed, and they were forced into the trunk of his car.
Mm-hmm. And it's just a 4-door, like, sedan type car.
Right.
Nothing big.
I mean, if Ron and I were forced into the trunk of somebody's car, I hope it's a big one.
Really, too, because they did show pictures of them. I'm like, wow, they fit in there?
It'd be like your knee is in my side. Oh, my gosh. It's just unbelievable what this man did. He held them captive for 3 days. They were missing for 3 days. I don't know, like they didn't describe on the episode that we watched, like what did they do for 3 days?
Yeah, we do see the room. There is a toilet in there. And we know they were handcuffed to the wall with one arm, I think.
Yeah.
And so, right, what did they do?
The police detective did say that one of them, I think it was Connie, was no longer able to stand.
Yeah.
And she was just hanging from the handcuff.
Yeah, they did say, too, that how long they were standing for, I don't recall now, but it wasn't the full 3 days all consecutively, but it was, I thought they said 16 hours or something.
Yeah, and, you know, how sad for this beautiful couple. They lived their life. They built some success. They were faithful church members. They gave to the community. And then to be treated like
poured into
like
the
garbage.
Community. Yeah.
I mean, just terrible. By the way, the Van Oostens did go on to write a book, and it's called Rescued for a Reason. And they also taught Sunday school based on their book. So they did
their experience.
They created 3 Sunday school lessons.
So let's tell our audience how the police found them. Like, how did they know where the Van Oostens were?
Oh, my goodness. This Chad, I mean, this godlike narcissist idiot, he goes to the bank. Well, he forces this couple into the trunk of his car, and he drives them to the bank. Okay?
And they still don't know it's him.
No.
Right.
No, they just think it's some lunatic who is saying, where's your God now, you know?
But pause for a moment.
Sure.
Here's what I don't get. They don't know it's him, but obviously she doesn't go into the bank with duct tape on her eyes and mouth. So obviously she had to see. She had to have looked back and knew the car, right?
That I don't know.
Well, and there's no way, well, I shouldn't say no way, but Chad himself probably didn't have a ski mask on or anything. So I wonder at what point may they have found out that it was him?
Well, we know how the bank found out it was him.
Yes, we do know that.
This idiot told Connie to have the bank write a check, a cashier's check, to him, to his LLC that he used for his business, which is registered with the state.
Hello, they easily traced it back.
Clickety clack. Oh, it's dumb Chad.
Yeah, who thinks he's smarter than us?
Yeah. So Connie goes into the bank, and she does what he's saying because he's threatening to kill Larry. Right. If she doesn't do what he says, Larry's gone. So Connie's at the bank, and guess what? She's got a bulletin from church in her purse. So she pulls it out, and she writes on the bulletin that we're in trouble. We need help. And she gives that to the bank teller.
That's right.
And the bank teller alerts the police. And now the police go clickety-clack. What's the Store Edge LLC? Because that was the name of his LLC. Chad. It's Chad.
All traced back to Chad.
Yeah, plus they identified his car.
Right.
So, okay,
that's what I'm
Chad,
saying. Like, how did he think he was going to get away with this?
I don't know. And then what was he going to do with the money? Like, even if this all went through, right? Like, and he, by the way, friends, he planned this for 18 months.
Yeah. He was going to use the money for all of the debt he owed other people for investing in his...
It was a Ponzi scheme.
It was.
He was taking in people's money and spending it and not getting the return on investment. And then he had to show them dividends. And there were no dividends because he was taking the money in, spending it on his lavish lifestyle that couldn't be controlled. What a nut. Okay. So once they leave the bank, and I don't know, I guess he goes back to the dungeon and puts them back in there. Well, now the police are on the trail. That's when they go into their home, into the Skipper home or whatever their last name is. And they're, guns ablazing to the wife and the kids. Like, where is, and they're saying, where's a secret room? And she's like, oh, we don't have a secret room. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't take them very long to find Chad.
Yeah.
And they found his car.
Right.
Because
that's what I mean.
It's not hard.
He wasn't dumb, but he did really dumb things. Probably because he thinks he's smarter than them and extremely desperate.
Yeah, he was. He was extremely desperate. And the cop said that he didn't believe that this couple, the Van Oostens, would ever be let go.
Oh,
he believed in the heart of his heart that they were going to be murdered in the event that old Chad, had an opportunity to murder them.
Well, old Chad bought Visqueen. Yeah. And they said, well, we don't believe you were ever going to release them. And he's like, oh, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And they said, you bought Visqueen. He goes, that was for the windows. And tape. There was something else, too.
Yeah.
It's just indicated
undeniable.
They were going to be... to their demise.
But you can tell that this guy was Looney Tunes because when he's in jail and he's divorcing his wife, he wanted custody of the kids from jail.
From jail. Yeah. The wife was like, I don't know how we can...
It's not going to work.
Do that from jail.
Oh, my goodness. So anyway, then the police, there was a car chase between Chad and the police, and he wrecked the car, and then they captured him. And they brought him into the station, and they showed pictures or video of his interview, and he had his arm wrapped up, and he just confessed everything. He just told him what he did.
Yeah.
And then they went and rescued the Van Oostens, and thankfully they survived this vicious, unnecessary, crazy, absolutely insane attack on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they interviewed the poor daughter who was 14, as you said, who had to wrap the can you imagine?
No.
I mean, she said, something that I just can't believe that he used me to do such a thing for that purpose.
Right. I really truly do believe that people like that extreme, grandiose, whatever they call it in psycho world, they have this grandiose idea that all these things are going to be fine, and I'm just going to make this happen. And he had that godlike complex, whatever. And he thought it was all going to work out.
Yeah.
And no, Chad, no can do.
Yeah.
This is not God's way.
It's so crazy because even though there were red flags, they weren't, they were almost covert,
Yeah.
Red flags.
Hindsight is 20/20.
It is. But all the other things, the way he doted on her and respect. I mean, respect is huge.
Yeah.
And was a good dad.
Yeah.
All of that, and you think, wow, the whole thing was just a farce. The whole thing was a lie.
Well, now Chad is in prison for 60 years. And Danielle has moved on, and she did fall in love again, and she did, and that really was the redemptive story for her.
Yeah.
She said she was able to trust again.
Yeah, and she knew this man from when she was in school, when she was a teenager. She had dated him at one point.
Yeah, so I'm happy for her that she experienced that, and hopeful for she and her children, as well as the Van Oosten family, that they can all recover fully from this evil act. It was an evil act. All right. Well, that's the story. And our reaction to it, I think, is the reason why we're even covering it, is it's a train wreck. So it's
so shocking.
It is shocking.
It's just so unbelievable. I mean, I've seen a lot of crime, and every time I'm just in such shock.
Yeah, can you imagine the church on the Sunday after this whole thing is revealed and they're in this small community?
Oh, gosh.
Can you imagine them?
No. Right.
They would be like, what?
Yeah.
You couldn't write that.
No.
It's crazy. All right, well, let's share some scripture, as we always do, as we wind things up here. 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5. Catherine came up with this scripture. It says this, "But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents. This guy's parents actually sued him because he stole money from them. Ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people.
That's right. Good advice.
Amen to that.
We're there, folks. We're already, we're already seeing those things in the world.
For sure with
and
this guy.
We have been for a long time.
For sure with this guy. All right, friends, our call to action today is pay attention to red flags. Trust but verify.
Always.
If you're married to somebody who's, looking a little suspicious, get your radar going.
Yeah.
All right, friends, you've been listening to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm still Catherine.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.